This is the Drake Insights Podcast, your weekly dose of cutting-edge senior living marketing insights. Join me, your host, Natasha Drake, for bold ideas, proven strategies, and inspiring stories straight from the experts. Tune in and let's conquer the senior living marketing landscape together. Hey guys, welcome back to the Drake Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Natasha Drake from Drake Strategic. So on today's episode, we're going to be doing another 3 in 3. 3 tips in 3 minutes. Let's get started. So today's 3 in 3 is really just a high level. What are the top most important senior living marketing tips I can give? I want to talk more holistically about what are the top 3 things you want to make sure you're doing to really have an impact on the number of leads you get and being a wise use of your dollar spent to go further. So number 1 is making sure you're having an omni-channel marketing approach. And what I mean by that is not simply that you're using all different types of marketing advertising avenues, but that each strategy and tactic you're doing uses all of those marketing avenues. So for example, you're having a lead generating event where you have a direct mail to a large purchase list. Why don't we also target that same list digitally before and after the event? Why don't we also have a QR code on that direct mail that drives to a custom landing page? Perhaps there's some kind of downloadable content we can get them to convert, even if they can't come to the event, to show that we're an expert in the market and we're also giving them something to take home with them before they even come, or trying to get them to come in for a visit prior, as well as having some kind of, maybe if they fill out that form, they get a marketing automation campaign. We have an email, e-newsletter going out inviting them to that event. And also having traditional media as well. So if you can see with one tactic, by using all the different marketing avenues, digitally, traditional direct mail, traditional media, and email marketing, you're going to significantly increase the number of leads and conversions you get from that one tactic. So always think about every time you're thinking of a strategy or a tactic you're going to be employing, making sure it's truly omni-channel and you're doing it as much as you can in all the different ways we can target that individual. The second tip is to make sure we're not just spending paid dollars on Google. I know that that's the focus these days, and obviously digital is extremely important, but there are so many other ways we can be generating higher quality leads than just paying Google with paid ads. We're going to talk about this a little more next week with Sarah Eggers, my SEO specialist. But for today, one of my tips here is just to make sure you're not just throwing dollars at Google. You're missing about 2/3 of your leads, right? So 1/3 of their leads might be clicking on that ad. But we know the younger demographic, your adult children, and a lot of very tech-savvy seniors are scrolling now past that paid ad. And so if we're not focusing on our SEO rankings, our organic content, focusing on our Google My Business profile, making sure we have good reviews and our listing is really ranking high, then we're missing out on 2/3 of our leads. So number 2 tip is to not just spend paid dollars on paid ads, but also investing time and money and strategy on how are we improving our organic rankings. And even more importantly today is your rating and your Google My Business profile. About 1/3 of your leads are clicking on those, maybe even more than that now. And so we want to make sure that we're not missing the leads that are going past your paid ads and that you're showing up first in your listing and in your organic ranking. And then your 3rd tip for today is your website, which this could be a whole video in itself, but we want to make sure that when they then get to your website, that your website is interactive, informative, and has a lot of strong calls to action and conversion points. So number 1, informative. We want to make sure on your website, you have everything that prospect is looking for. You have pricing information, and I understand that's difficult sometimes to put, but then have some kind of pricing comparative review on there for them to look at. Making sure you have all the information about what you offer, the care, the services, and not just listed, but really helping them, walking them through that process. When they get to your site, you don't want them to leave. So you want your prospect to be able to find all that information very easily. Number 2 is interactive. We want to make sure that you have floor plans, you have videos, you have images, you have downloadable content, that your prospect is able to click through and get a lot of information on one site And the third tip for your website is to make sure you have strong conversion points. So as soon as they get there, they don't have to search and try to find a form. Right there above the fold, they have a quick conversion point to be able to get more information. Hopefully they have some kind of downloadable content, so they're actually getting something when they fill out a form, and having a chatbot. Having a chatbot on your website is extremely crucial today. It has increased leads at some of my communities for over 40%. So making sure your website overall is interactive, informative, and has strong conversion points. Okay, so there's your 3 tips in 3 minutes. I know that was a lot of tips in one, but just your overall overarching marketing strategy tips. Again, to recap, number 1, making sure that you have an omni-channel approach in your marketing plan. Number 2, making sure you're not just spending paid dollars on Google, that you're actually investing in making sure your organic rankings and your Google My Business profile listing and your reviews are ranking higher on the Google search. And number 3 is your website, making sure that your website, when your prospect finally does get to your site, that it is informative, interactive, and has strong conversion points. All right, well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. Real quick, if you enjoyed watching the podcast today, please follow me and subscribe so you're notified for the next podcast. And if you have any questions or want to talk after about anything that Drake Strategic can provide for you, please reach out to me, call me, email me, or visit our website at drakestrategic.com.